Welcome to Totally Talent Podcast by HR.com, your go-to source for all things talent. Whether you're looking for expert insights on high-volume hiring, the latest trends in recruitment technology, or strategies for building a winning team, we've got you covered. Join us for each episode as we dive deep into the challenges and opportunities shaping the talent landscape today. Let's get started.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Totally Talent on HR.com. I'm your host, Mike Wood, and you may see a familiar face on here. I've had Raj of Trua on here before, but Raj, I will not attempt to say your last name because I will not do it justice. But what's your full name?
Raj Ananthanpillai, Mike.
Ananthanpillai. See, that's as close as I would have gotten to
That's
it. But
very phonetic.
So I love talking to you because you are the identity guru in my stable of people that I talk to. You are the person, you were one of the people that helped build TSA PreCheck, one of the best things that I have ever bought. I think it's $75 for like 5 years of that safety of knowing that I know who I am and the airport knows who I am and I can just go right through the fast pass lane. So you're one of those people, and now you're working on a new kind of portable identity product. What are you working on?
Thank you for having me, Mike. One of the things I want to talk about today is my upcoming book, which is primarily talking about this. So I know you and I have talked a few times. I've talked to other people in the thing. There's this whole notion of how do you verify the human behind every transaction or every platform, digital platform, and so on and so forth. So in this book, I show how, more importantly, our current system of trust and identity screening per se is fundamentally rigged against individuals like you and I.
All right, well, let's get into that because I remember
I detail everything, how it was developed, and so on and so forth. Every time we apply for a job, rent an apartment, or open an account, we are forced to hand over our most sensitive information like social security, date of birth, or current living address, and so on and so forth, repetitively, right, over and over again, creating countless honeypots across the industries, massive risk, endless friction, and billions in fraud and breach costs. Think about that. So what I wanted to do, my journey was, several years ago, this awakening happened to me back in 2017 when there was a massive data breach with Equifax. I said, why are we continuously using SSN to be the identifier in all of our transactions, whether it is employment verification, verification for employment or identity verification or any of those things. So, and with our TSA background, that's when I said, okay, let's come up with a practical solution that is a win-win, right? Yes, it's one thing to protect the individuals, which is what most regulators tend to do sometimes. And then the businesses have to bear the heavy burden of compliance, litigation risk, and so on and so forth. So I said, what is the happy medium? And I was thinking about it. Why are we not doing what TSA PreCheck did to the commercial world? Why don't we combine the credit bureau world, which is a credit bureau world, and the trust credential for life world, which is like a TSA PreCheck, into one? And that's exactly what I do, which is this. I lay out in this book, which is basically a reusable, privacy-first trust credential for life that lets you verify who you are once, any background that's required, store it securely in your own digital wallet, and share only what's needed without ever exposing your raw data like social security or date of birth. It's a new model, actually, that gives power back to the individuals while making life dramatically easier and safer for businesses, too. They don't have to collect, guard it, buy insurance on it, and worry about breaches anymore.
Got it. I feel like, even with all the technology that's come out over the last 20 years, social media, all that stuff, but it's all just collecting your data. It's all just like, I was just talking, so I'm in the market for a new TV, and it's been a while because I buy things and then I wear them into the ground. And I'm just surprised that the prices have actually come down since I last bought a TV. And I was talking to some people about it, and they're like, yeah, because the TV's all smart connected. And so now the TV companies are selling what you're watching to advertisers and stuff. So, like, all this personal information is it's threaded throughout our entire economy. And I feel like with AI, it's gotten to the point where like anybody could be or can prepare to be or pretend to be somebody else online.
Yep.
I could build up a fake persona for 6 months online and then just go nuts applying for jobs and whatnot. It's really hard to figure out who's a real person and who's not. And so like all the hiring companies that are doing background checks used to be at the very last thing that you do. You do, okay, background check. This person doesn't have any red flags. Now you have to almost put that at the top of the whole process, is finding out, okay, am I wasting my time with fraud right away? Or let me at least know that I'm talking to a person first.
That's the biggest issue that we are all going to face in the future. It's people are talking about agentic commerce, how that's going to be the next big thing. Yes, that's that is still what I call a bleeding edge, right? If you see a bell curve, they're still in the top, leading 5-10% of the population, right? That's what they're all getting excited. They keep sucking up oxygen from the room, and are it's an echo chamber for many of them. But if you think majority of the people are in the middle bell curve, and they're not even close to any, and there's actually more resentment for AI now all of a sudden, because the way this is getting couched in the industry and how people are going to do this and whatnot, people are going to have resentment. So we should probably work towards actually making sure that the AI is beneficial to the society at large and brings along everybody in the journey, as opposed to leaving a whole bunch of people behind. Anyway, that's a different philosophical discussion for me. So one of the things that is happening is deepfakes, right? So,
Mhm.
and then and the biggest problem that we have is over the last 10, 15, 20 years in the whole digital economy, digital transformation, people have come up with gating factors. Okay, I'm going to let only verified users, right? So they build a system to verify you. Oh, I want to only let somebody in who has a college degree, because this is a tutoring facility. I'm just making this up. It's an
Yeah.
example. Or another digital platform that's saying, okay, I'm going to provide care services or plumbing services, electrical services, right? Oh, I have to check the license of the individual and also make sure the person does not have a criminal record when they send them to somebody's home. So it is a step up of various levels of due diligence that you have to do on the individual. And people have built many, many systems over the years, which I call fragmented landscape, to do one specific thing. And you as an individual, you have to continue to provide your personal information every time you want to get into one of these platforms. There is nothing that can go across any of these platforms. There is no commonality, right? So the reason for that is everybody wants to do their own thing. Instead, if there's a neutral party that say, hey, for example, in the credit bureau world, right, you don't go collect all of the credit information of an individual. You just go to one of the 3 credit bureaus and say, okay, good, bad, and different. They provide you some initial gating information, and then you can build on top of it. Oh, I need to verify XYZ, additional verification. That's a different scenario, but at least get that. It's the same thing when you are zipping through airlines and zipping through airports. You don't keep providing information over and over again. You just provide the KTN, which is the known traveler number, to the airport authorities, and then you're zipped through all of those lines, right? It's the
Yep.
same concept. What we have done is we have combined those two concepts and say, hey, get your life credential once, right? And then you can verify it like a trust bureau, which is what I'm detailing in my book very, very efficiently. And this is especially true for the gig economy, which is 60, 70 million, 80 million people in the gig world. And every time they want to do something, they have to go over the whole process over and over again. And none of these platforms will accept from another company, oh, I got verified by Lyft. So Uber doesn't believe in that. So Uber has to do their own verification. Oh, I got verified by DoorDash. Now it has to be done by another vendor, right? So what we are saying is, hey, take a step back, have a neutral trust bureau, and then have this thing that is done that can work across all of these platforms, whether it's for employment or for gig work or for tutoring or hiring, any combination thereof.
That's awesome, because if I come to a job interview with like a known traveler number type of thing, if I'm coming with my own credential, then you don't have to worry about all that. Just put me to the front of the thing. Let's start talking whether this is a good fit or not. You don't have to,
Yeah, that
and
is
and then it's
exactly
not a
right.
cost to the employer either.
Yeah, it could be cost to the employer in initial
Good.
stages, right? Because they are paying today $100 or something, right? 50 to $100. So it could be the same thing, right? But somebody has to see the market, and that's where it is. So I'm hoping that when enough platforms, we have a bunch of customers, very blue chip customers as well. So when there's enough momentum that everybody say, hey, you know what? I want to get one of those things. And more importantly, think about getting those trust credentials early in your career, like when you're graduating or when you're a senior, junior in college, and say, hey, I'm going to get into workforce in a year or two. I better get my career passport or my own gig passport, whatever you want to call that, right? And then I build it on top of it as I go along in my life. It comes, it matures, it's continuously verified, it continuously updates it, and so on and so forth. That way, you are with the system from a younger age. So that's another parallel track that we can have, because this whole new generation of people who are digitally savvy, digitally native, and they're also going to be AI native now, right? Because they're all using AI tools in their high school projects and college projects. So this is an easy way to say, hey, I want to prove myself that I am a human being behind that AI agent. I'm the human being behind that. Because everybody's now figured out how to respond to any job openings using one of their bots. And recruiters are getting bombarded with bots. And how do I know who's really applying with the intent to apply and a human being? In this case, the recruiters say, hey, if you have your trust token attached to your resume, now you can say, okay, this person genuinely has attached the individual trust token, like your KTN number, to the resume. That means this person has actually applied for this job. He or she has read the job description. Hopefully, they are a match. And then, as you said, you don't have to worry about if they're going to clear the background check at the end of the process, because they're already cleared coming in. You just go through the subjective part of the interview.
Yep, it's funny. We spent so long trying to remove barriers to applying, and now there's no barriers to applying, and we need to put some barriers in there. So let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about the future, because I wrote something this week thinking about 2030, and that I honestly feel like that the traditional hiring funnel is going to disappear. I think all those steps are going to be on the candidate side. They'll have all the steps they go through, and then on the company side, they'll all have what they're looking for. Systems can talk to each other, bring the actual person in when there's a real deal to be made. And so, I mean, that's a little extreme. But I honestly feel like we're moving into this kind of new era of how people get, how people find work. And I'm glad that you brought up the gig economy, because that's like, in that economy, like, let's say you're going to do a DoorDash or you're going to do a Uber. They have a very fast verification system. It's almost, I think it takes like a day or so, but it's still a day. But so, like, they're already trying to like verify people as fast as possible. Meanwhile, if I wanted to pick up a job quickly and I had my verification, I could just say, hey, here I am. You have a shift open. I'm a real person. I'm not going to rob you. I'm not going to kill anybody or whatever, or I haven't in the past. So,
So that's a very good point that you're bringing up, Mike, because it is not fast enough for the gig economy, first of all. And the second of all, what they're trying to do is give you the perception of their checking you. Many of them just check the box. They go to the lowest common denominator, just do a quick, show me your face, or show me something, driver's license or something, right? I mean, and I know that there is just nothing but fake in the driver's license. Even driving records are getting faked right now, right? For you saw the whole commercial truck driver issue that we have had. Tens of thousands of people with fake driver's license, commercial driver's license, driving trucks, right? So imagine that, multiply that by in a million in the in the retail world. So you have somebody doing some of the stuff, but it is not possible to do all of that, if you ask me, because some of these data court records is still behind a firewall, or behind a paywall, I should say. Right? They're not going to just release the court record for you if you request it in the morning. Right? It's going to take a day or two for them to revert back and say, okay, this is what happened. So that whole process is laborious. So the best part is move it forward. And the way you alleviate any regulatory concern, the reason why people are doing the way it is, because today's regulation says you can only do a background check on an individual after you extend them an offer of employment. But if you do our way, which I was talking about, is where you involve the individual in the process to verify the information and to ensure that that is the person who is interacting with you, then you're kicking out a whole slew of regulations because it's first party verified. And you can do it anytime in the process. You don't have to wait till an offer of employment. So my vision is, in 3 to 5 years, everybody is going to have a passport, my gig passport or something like that, and say, hey, I'm going to get it whether I'm looking for a gig now or not, but at some point I'm in a crunch, I need a job tomorrow morning, I can do this X, Y, and Z. Go to a platform, sign up, and they can just hire you, because the labor shortage is increasing. And in the new manufacturing economy, that people want candidates to fill manufacturing jobs yesterday. I'm sure you're following the manufacturing renaissance going on, right? So when you want candidates yesterday, you're not going to go through a 2 to 3 week process to interview and extend them an offer. They go a background check by third party and worrying about walking on eggshells and so on and so forth. You want to say, hey, have you been verified? Everything's ready to go. If they fit the bill in terms of their qualification and experience, hire them. They can start tomorrow morning. That has never been done. It is not easy to do. And as you said, if you're looking for a shift work tonight in a restaurant because my busboy quit, or come on in, because you've been already verified, proven that you've not had any criminal record in your past, and boom, ready to go.
It almost
So that
creates
is
like
the
a verified like a talent pool of candidates that are available.
Verified talent pool and ready to go, because and you can have that verified talent pool simply because you are co-opting the individual in the process to verify their data. That's why the regulation is very thin there, because the only thing you have to verify, you follow the process. But if I am verified and I'm providing you my credential to you and say, hey, go ahead, you can hire me because here's what it is. And it has been verified by a neutral trust bureau, for example, and say, yep, this is verified. Raj says he doesn't have criminal record. Yep, I can verify that. And now that should be acceptable across all of these platforms, whether it's Lyft, Uber, or DoorDash, or Airbnb, any of those things.
Yeah, shouldn't this be something that the government is doing and not private businesses?
No,
or
I don't think government should do, because if you start doing the government, then you become into the social scoring issue, like a China thing, right? You don't want government anywhere near our private lives. Privacy is important. You don't want a big brother type approach, and so on and so forth, right? Just like we had credit bureaus. There are 3 credit bureaus, right? They have a lot of pitfalls and a lot of flaws in it. So what we have done is taken out all of the flaws, addressing all of those things, and taking out some of the issues, the TSA PreCheck, in terms of how it is administered and so on and so forth. Combine the best of those things in this whole process, and that's what I really talk about it in detail in my book, because I really, really want to change this society in the future. It's where you as an individual own your own trust credential, and you get to verify it every so often. You get to update it, and that way anybody making a decision, they are doing it based on up-to-date information.
Now, what is the title of the book, and when is this available, and where can people get it?
Yeah, it's called The Trust Crisis, how the big tech stole your identity and a plan to take it back. So it's available. It's published by Forbes, and Simon & Schuster is the distributor. And it's available to pre-order now in Amazon.
That's fantastic. So, all my listeners out there, please get a copy of this book. Read about what type of information of yours is floating out there. I think it definitely hit home to me because I'm in the process of, well, one car died and I was going to get a store credit card for like a TV purchase, as I mentioned the TVs. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna get a store credit card to do like that and get some money back. Well, I applied for the store credit card, just a BJ's credit card, and they pulled my credit. And now I'm like, uh-oh, what do I have to do? Because I was going to get a car loan too. Now, because if they pull your credit, your score goes down a little. Like you can't have too many pulls. And so I'm running into this. Like I wish I just had like a regular thing and didn't have to keep like playing this game with the credit bureaus.
Yep. See, one of the thing is this book is a pretty, even though it is a pretty intense subject per se, but as you read through the book, darn, okay, I know now because everybody has gone through what I'm illustrating in the book. Everybody has had that problem going through their lives. I can guarantee you that because everybody has had one of these things happen to them, whether they know it or not.
That's the key
Right?
part.
If you bought some regular reading glasses or even regular glasses, prescription glasses, your data was breached 3 years ago. You didn't think that buying a pair of prescription glasses at an eyewear, at an optometrist, you would have that because all of those things are tied to a parent company, and it's called Luxor or Lux something, and the entire database was breached, and nobody knows about it. Because they're not directly dealing with you, they're dealing with through third parties. And that is a problem that we have. We keep giving out, and we create these honeypots across the various industries and markets, and then everybody's storing it, guarding it, and then it's only a matter of time. It's not, if, it's always when it's going to be
Awesome.
breached.
Well, I really appreciate you joining me. I'll include a link to get the book when I post this. Again, check out Raj and Trua. It's his company for digital identity verification. Check him out. I love talking with you about all the horrible things that are happening in the background in terms of my data. But thank you for joining me on Totally Talent.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate it.
Thanks for tuning in to the Totally Talent podcast by HR.com. We hope you find today's episode insightful and inspiring. Don't forget to explore more episodes and discover valuable resources at hr.com/podcasts, where you can listen to all of our podcasts. Until next time, keep leading with purpose and making a difference in the world of talent.